Somebody asked me to help export container field contents from FileMaker. At first I thought that this was going to be a very simple task. FileMaker actually has written a script that you can just go through the records, loop through them, and then export all of them, for example, to your desktop into a folder. Now, my friend said, what if the files are actually named the same way? Then they would override each other, which is not a good idea. I said, okay, well then we can do something that the company 360 Works has achieved with Supercontainer, where basically you have a folder which you can name with the ID, and then within the folder you can have an image. So that way you can have a unique identifier for every folder that contains the image, and you're not going to overwrite them. So I have a sample file that I created that I'm going to upload to my blog. As you can see, it's very simple. I have two fields and two records. I have a container field and an ID field, and ID is number 1 and then number 2 for the second record. So I'm going to hit the script, export container, and now I'm gonna have a new folder on my desktop called FM Exports. Within FM Exports, I have two subfolders, number 1 and number 2. One contains the first image from my database, as you can see, I suppose this one, and then the second one is the second image. So this is very simple, right? The way this is done is that FileMaker calls a script. FileMaker calls an AppleScript, and then AppleScript calls a shell script. So let me walk you guys through quickly, just to make sure that this is clear. I have had a little trouble creating this, and some of you who have had the pleasure of helping me on Twitter will probably laugh, but I'll take my chances. So I have a script that loops through the records, and then the individual actions are the following. First, I'm setting an ID. The ID is the ID of the record. So in my case, it's container export ID. And then I'm setting a variable called script. The script basically just a container for like a native action. So I'm going to call a shell script with AppleScript, and here I'm just defining the text that I'm going to actually call. And then with shell script, I'm going to make a directory on my desktop in the folder FM Exports called my folder. Then I'm going to substitute my folder in the script variable with the ID of the record. So at the end, the result is going to be desktop FM Exports /1 or 2 or whatever the ID is. Then I'm going to perform that AppleScript. And once that's done, I'm creating a variable called file, so I can tell the export field content script step what to export. And the file basically is FileMaker or FileWin, but if you're using AppleScript, unfortunately you can't use this on Windows. And then you get the desktop path, and then you add the folder that you're going to export into. So it's FM Exports, and then the ID, and then you get as text the container field itself that will create the name of the file. So once that's done, you can actually just export the contents, and then you will have the file. So this is very simple. The only caveat is making sure that you have the commas and every little thing in the right place in FileMaker, which again I had a little trouble with. So I'm going to thank a couple of people who helped me here. One of them is Binary Assist, who's Lee Hyung, and then I had Secure FileMaker, which is Stephen Blackwell, and I also had Bruce, who helped me along the way. So thank you again, Bruce Robertson, sorry for the last name. Thank you again, guys, for the help, and hopefully this will help some other people.